The best thing that you can do for yourself is to forgive yourself. Hello, welcome back to my 90 days of lessons from me, for me to you. And today is day 26 of this challenge. And today's lesson is basically to forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself can come in many different forms. You know, there could be many different things that you're forgiving yourself about. Maybe it's some opportunity in the past that you let slip by you. Maybe it was, like a job opportunity. Whether it was a girl or something. Maybe it was a girl that you liked. Maybe it was a girl that you thought was good for you, or a man that you thought was good for you, but you didn't at the time. But looking back, you're like, damn, I really wish I'd went with that option, or blah blah blah. Or just kind of forgiving yourself for maybe not working as hard as you should have, right? One thing that I've said, and I made a lesson on this, is that the best time to start anything is now. Beating yourself up about things that you've done in the past, or opportunities that you've let slip by you, they serve nothing for you, honestly. Maybe the only thing they really do for you is like they give you a lesson of not letting that happen again. But let's be honest here, bro, it's gonna happen again, and it's gonna keep happening. We're human, we're not perfect. Not every single time that we see something in our face, put right in front of our face, is the time we're gonna be like, yeah, this is the best option right now. That's the best thing I can do for myself right now. Even if everybody else is telling you, yo, this is the best thing that you can do for yourself. If you don't feel like it is, you don't feel like it is, And maybe you'll beat yourself up for not starting earlier, but dude, the best time to start is now. I'll give myself an example. In high school, I used to do comedy videos, and when I graduated and I made it to college, I stopped because I'm like, wow, no one's ever gonna take me seriously. Pretty sure you guys have heard this story a good amount of times by now. But I'm like, nobody's ever gonna take me seriously with this shit, right? I'm out here making jokes on the internet, being stupid on the internet. And now fast forward, keep in mind this is like 2019, 2020 type. Well, actually 2019 is before we moved into our new house. So 2019. And I stopped. And fast forward now, we're in 2025, and so many people have literally retired their family and started generational wealth just off of doing exactly what I was doing back then. And it's not like I was doing it unsuccessfully, like I was gaining some type of traction. But last year I realized that it was something that I was always passionate about. It's something that I always really wanted to do, right? I realized that everything that I was doing, sure, it's what I wanted to do, but it wasn't really for me. It was for the approval of other people and the accreditation of my family, my mom, my dad, and everyone else around me, and just to prove to them that, hey, I'm doing something with my life, right? And again, this was the partner that I'm with at the time. She was like, you've always wanted to do this. I've always asked you why you stopped, and I think you should start back because the best time to start is now. I could have beat myself up between then and now, honestly, but wow, I should have started earlier. The best time to start would that 5, 4, 6 years ago. I definitely feel like I would have had at least a good size following right now, maybe like 500,000 or something within the span of 6 years. Like I definitely would have done something with it. But I realized that, dude, just beating yourself up about that does nothing for you. It does nothing for me. So what did I do? I stopped. I picked up my phone and I got to recording, and here we are today. That decision eventually led me to making this channel, because I say that sure, I want to make people's day better and I want to make jokes and blah blah blah. I want to escape from reality, but I also want to provide some type of value to people outside of that. And that's why I was like, okay, I want to start a second channel just like this. I got the gaming channel because that's a personal thing of mine that I want to make into a job. I got the skits where I can express myself creatively, and then I got this where I can just be my natural self without having to put on not so much of a facade, but I don't have to be extra, right? This is just me being me. This is just how I usually talk to people. This is how I usually articulate myself and put myself forward towards people. I'll be the first to admit to you that I'm not the most talkative guy until you get to know me, but this is just me being me. And it's like I said, if I didn't forgive myself for the fact that I didn't start earlier, I don't know where I'd be. If I didn't forgive myself for the fact that My freshman year of college, my first semester, I almost failed out of college. I wouldn't have gotten into physical therapy school. I would have been beating myself up about it and feeling sorry for myself. That's the one thing you should never be. Don't ever get stuck feeling sorry for yourself, because that means that you haven't forgiven yourself. If you're stuck all the days of your life blaming your past self, you'll never live in your present to do something, which means that your future self won't be able to thank you, right? That was a bar as it was coming out. Let me say that again. If you're stuck blaming your past self, you'll never be in the present enough to do something for your future self to thank you. Every single thing that I do for myself, I do for my future self, right? I'm so grateful to myself that for these past 26 days, I've been doing this every day consistently, even when I don't feel like it. I'm grateful for myself that when I'm done with this, I'm going to edit a YouTube video, I'm going to record a YouTube video to put up on my other channel. I am grateful for myself, grateful to my past self that, I posted on TikTok, right? Because it showed me the first time around that if I just keep going, I can make it. If I just keep going, I can make it. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for myself from that, right? And that allows me to be able to forgive myself for the things in the past that have happened, right? And now I'm never going to say that the feeling is going to go away, that you're in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, damn, man, if I started earlier, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. That's what people tell you. It's like, oh, once you forgive yourself, like that feeling, it's not there anymore. No, it's still there. It's still there. But that feeling is still there, but you're not as guilty about it anymore, because you're telling yourself, you know what? Sure, I didn't start earlier. Sure, I didn't work when, I thought I should have. I didn't do this when I thought I should have, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm going to do it. Right? So it's easier for you to look at your past self and be like, well, he didn't know then, but I know now. It's easier for your future self to look at you and say like, hey, I'm grateful I started. I didn't know what I was doing back then, but I know more about it now. Right? That's the thing about forgiving yourself, bro. If you forgive yourself, there's so much freedom that you get in your life to enjoy your life. There's so much freedom that you get to enjoy your life just because, you simply said, I'm okay with what happened in the past, but I'm going to keep my head down, live in my present, and keep going towards my future. Because your future is the only thing that truly matters. Unless you got some like felonies and crimes in your past, bro, or, some crazy shit. The past is meant to be learned from. That is the purpose of the past. The past isn't meant to be lived in. They always say that if you ignore the past, you're doomed. If the present generation ignores the past, they're doomed to repeat it in the future. The past is meant to be learned from and, get information from and cultivate information from it to live within your present to make yourself a better future. That is the purpose of your past. Look back at your past relationships. What did I do wrong? What did they do wrong that I didn't like? Apply that to your maybe current relationship and keep going. Or just apply that to your current life and keep going. Because there are things that we do in our relationships that are part of our own lives that we need to improve on. Right? One thing that I know about me, I could get better at opening up to people. Right? Like if I do that, life would be so much better for me. Let me see another thing. Just talking about history in general, the current political state of the country, if you look back in the past and you kind of look at what's been going on, economists and historians, there are futurists are a thing, but I don't think that's a profession. But historians are like, okay, this is kind of where the economy is heading because of the things that's being applied right now, right? And that's not to get like political and all those things, but it's just like, dude, looking at your past without judgment of yourself, which means that you forgave yourself, right? You forgave yourself. Looking at your past without judgment, there is so much that you can learn from it, because there's so much that you can apply to your current state of life that you can go further with, right? Dude, the best time to do anything that you've ever wanted to do in your life is right now. The best, unless it's like 3 a.m. for you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Listen, it feels good in the moment, the productivity of like a 3 a.m. high if I need to get my life together. But dude, go to bed first of all. Wake up because I know that somebody has watched. Literally last night, somebody was watching my video like 3 a.m. Thank you. But back on topic. Yeah, wake up in the morning and start applying it. If you want to, maybe go back to school. If you do whatever it takes to go back to school, If you know that there's a profession that you want to get into that leads to school, you know, if there's a girl that maybe, you know, you want to talk to or something, try talking to her, dog. What's the worst that can happen? She says no. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still struggling with that one. I'm not scared of talking to women. I just don't like, you know, whatever. It's not important. But, you know, and if, you know, you have to live with the fact that you're gonna make mistakes. You have to live with the fact that it may not go the way you want it to, right? But at the end of the day, you're okay with it. You're okay with it, even if you're the one who messed it up. Because it's easier to forgive other people than it is to forgive yourself. It's easier to make excuses for another person than it is for yourself. I'm not saying make excuses for yourself. You know, give yourself leniency, but don't make excuses that enable you, right? Don't make excuses that enable you to be lazy, to slack off, to not chase your dreams, to not do the things you want to do. Me, every day I get off of work, I go to work at 3:30, right? Every day that I wake up, I'm bad at this, but I'm getting better at it. I'm waking up earlier and earlier every day. What the first thing I do, I get up, I make my bed, I shower, come downstairs. If there's no food that my mom's cooked in the kitchen, I make breakfast. Then I come in here and I record and or edit, because I record these videos day of and then I edit them and then put them out, right? And then I edit another YouTube video. And after I shower, I make a TikTok if I don't have one to repost that day, right? Though that's my morning routine. That's what I do before I go to work. After work, because I know I'm not a morning gym person, right? The gym is like 30 minutes away from me, and it's like 50 minutes away. It's like 5 minutes away from my job, actually. So I was just like, you know, when I go to work, get off work at 10:30, go to the gym, right? I go to the gym, in the gym for like an hour and a half. I leave the gym, come home, and then the rest of the night's mine. I be going to bed late. I ain't go cap. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So, you know, if I got stuck on the fact that, you know, in the past, okay, I remember where I was going with this. If I got stuck on the past, last semester, you know, my last semester of college, where I went back for a little bit, I fell off of the wagon with the gym because when I got a dog, I'd gotten, you know, into content creation, and I got a job and school. And, you know, those were excuses, but I feel like those are pretty, you know, valid, lenient excuses. I still made efforts to go to the gym. But if I had let that stop me from getting back in the gym, I wouldn't be back in the gym right now. And I wouldn't have my physique right now. I've been back in the gym for like a month and a half. And I feel better about myself, bro. I have lost weight. I was 200 pounds. Now I'm back to like 190. So, you know, I forgave myself for the fact that, you know, the gym didn't work the way I wanted it to last semester, but I'm back on it. Guys, forgiving yourself is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Forgiving yourself is the best thing you can do for yourself, because you start looking towards the future and you go towards the future. But that's today's lesson. Forgive yourself. Please forgive yourself. And as always, with anything that you do in life, put God first. Always, you know, include him in all that you do. And love yourself before you love anybody else. And yeah, and if there's nobody out there that loves you, dude, I love you. But there is somebody out there that loves you. And I will see you tomorrow.